Hello, this is Cami Martinez, and this is vlog 4 for Communications 45, and I read The Rhetorical Act, Chapter 12. This chapter was titled Understanding Visual Rhetoric, and it's exactly on that, how to understand visual rhetoric as opposed to audio or spoken rhetoric, or written as well. Visual rhetoric is one of the most easily accessible and shared forms of rhetoric. It is everywhere. It's every advertisement, every picture you see, to some extent, is visual rhetoric. And because of that, it has the most influence on daily life. These pictures and these images have, because they're so often repeated, have the opportunity to become symbols in and of themselves, and they can symbolize both positive and negative concepts. Images also hold great sway on public matters and affairs, and good example of that is Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote is, "Unless you record the injustice, the world won't know that the child got beaten. I'm not going to be cold-hearted about it, but it was much more important for you to take a picture of us getting beaten up than for you to be another person joining in the fray," in reference to the civil rights movement and the civil rights marches. But his point is that taking the photos and visual images of these big events, or just any event, allows it for people to process it for who aren't there. And also the way the photos are taken allows for people to influence people and their opinions on the events that happened. It's a bit dangerous nowadays when it comes to visual rhetoric, though, because with the advancement of technology, a lot of images can be faked, or like deep fakes or photoshopped. But this basics of visual images, they're important because they're efficient, emotional, and super accessible. They're thematic. Everyone can understand, even if without words, for the most part. These images invite viewers to gaze upon them, and through the framing and staging of the images, influence subtly the viewer's decisions and emotions on whatever event's being depicted. Visual rhetoric works like all visual mediums and visual communications, and they're based on the technical elements of the camera and the basic rules of visual communication. Visual communication is based on things such as figure, ground, shapes, space, balance, direction, color, and lighting. So when you think of images, who's the subject, what's the setting, just composition, things that are more artsy. So like what makes an image look good. And then the technical elements are like from the camera side or the image capture side are the focus, angle, shot, sequencing, movement, editing, and sound of any visual medium. So how is it used, and visual medium used and manipulated to have the most impact. However, as effective as visual rhetoric is, it does have some downsides, as people can just ignore it. Like, people do not have to engage with visual media if they do not wish to, and visual media runs the risk of being too overly simplified, people not getting its meaning, and it being so abstracted that it loses all meaning.